Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Persona 5 commentary. This time we're actually going to make some progress and fight the boss. But first we need to kick Kamoshida in the dick.
A good strategy.
Alright, so we're just about at the top of the tower. We have one final hurdle to go through before we reach that treasure. Of course, once we reach the treasure, we need to go back into the real world and do something in order to trigger the boss fight. The logic behind this is that the treasure only appears as an incorporeal wisp of something unless the person in the real world is fully aware that someone is trying to steal their desires. They might not necessarily know that it's possible, but as soon as they're made aware, there's a short window of time within the palace where the treasure manifests as a solid object and can be stolen. So the routine, as far as Phantom Thief activities and palaces goes, tends to run along this line. You go into a palace and you try to secure a safe route to where the treasure's kept. You figure out where it's supposed to be located, and once that's done, you can go in it. You can go back to the real world, send a calling card to let the target know that their desires are going to be stolen, and once you've done that, you can go back into the palace and steal the treasure. So the calling card is a necessary step, apparently. Anyway, we have ourselves a new demon. This is Andros. Not to be confused with Andros, but wow, he's so dedicated to that, you know, stoic arms crossed pose that he keeps his arms crossed even when he's kneeling in pain. Okay. There's such a thing as caring too much about your image, dude.
He's very bashful.
Anyway, thanks for treating me to lunch. Every demon comments about how you're not going to be able to beat their leader.
Would I be doing this if I didn't think I could?
Well, at this point, you don't exactly have that cred, because this is the first dungeon boss that you're going to be fighting. There are a few enemy groups in this area, but this is also the area that you have to backtrack through. So it's the area that I'm going to be fading past in a bit when we have to come back here.
Hooray.
This is also where succubi start to appear as random enemies.
You missed.
I was gonna say, you just missed, Morgana.
Now here's the thing about enemies in the first palace. Pretty much everything with wings is weak against guns. It's not a rule that holds true for the other dungeons, but it is here. So that's something to remember if you don't necessarily, if you can't necessarily recall where a particular demon's weaknesses are.
Personally, I've always found that like flying enemies almost always are weak to guns in some capacity.
I'm succubus. I'm you after all. I'm sorry, I don't look like a 20-year-old woman.
I'm sure there are specific examples, but like anytime I ever used the gun to weaken something, it was almost always flying in the air.
I just use that as a general rule of thumb.
Let's get rid of the ugly horse thing. Why not?
Oh, you weren't using it that much.
Well, all these demons are things that I have in my Persona Compendium already, in better versions most likely, so I don't really care about keeping any of them.
I have something. I can feel it.
Alright. Why am I running around? Oh, I'm looking for items, just in case.
Don't need to. You already have so much stuff.
Hey, by the end of the game, I'm going to need to sell everything that I can to get as much money as possible.
More money, more hoagies.
Money is a tight resource in this game.
Come over here, red guy.
One of the things about when you're hiding around a corner that I do find pretty slick is that you can just tilt the analog stick forward to roll out from cover in the direction you want to run. Okay. More Archangel, more Pixie. Can't believe I'm still fighting pixies at this point in the dungeon. Oh, the reason they're there is probably because they can cast healing spells. Ugh.
Yep.
Kill them. Kill them with fire. Or lightning. Lightning works
Lightning in
too.
this case.
And... oh, he's still alive.
Pixies are down.
Let's rectify that.
Get money from him. We're holding up an Archangel for money.
I'm holding a gun to your head.
404.
A spectacular victory.
Error 404, wallet not found. Alright.
Okay. It's somewhere.
More staircases.
I like the running animation at the end of the battle, but the walking animation looks jank as fuck.
I'll reveal your true form.
Almost as jank as me zipping back and forth between cover.
At least now just wail on him.
Yeah. And there's only one, it's so easy to take these guys down, like it's not even funny.
You cheapskate, give me more.
Yeah.
Just a bit more and I can get the hokey.
The fun thing about the asking for more money or more items mechanic, you always know that you're going to get the same amount you just got if it succeeds. So if they give you like 404 gold, or yen rather, I keep forgetting this is a real world RPG. If you ask for, if you try to pressure them into more money and succeed, they'll give you the same amount again. So you essentially double or triple it depending on how many times you succeed. Yay! Medicinal items.
They're free then.
Silver.
More
Silver
silver
cutlery.
forks and vases.
That was a knife.
See it.
What was doing a flower pot, I'll never know. Why was that sword in that box? Alright. And here we are. This is where we need to get the keys. You try walking around, the floor just sort of cock blocks you, so you gotta go this way.
Damn it.
Yeah, I played plenty of platforming games to get through this, no problem.
Unfortunately, you don't have the option. Okay, so we need to figure out a way to shut these things off.
What's that?
We have another statue of Kamoshida's face. Remember the drawbridge down in the dungeon? Same deal here, but yanking his chin doesn't do anything. Huh.
This one doesn't dispense Pez either.
Anyway, yeah, you need to find two eyes, his left eye and his right eye, and slot them in, otherwise the switch won't work. And the way you do that is to go back down to the other rooms that you've been in, and try to find the, guard captain. Except there are now a bajillion different guard captains.
Find the captain.
Yeah. Well, the trick is that you got to use your third eye vision in order to determine which one is the actual captain that has the actual key.
Or it could just be the one you talk to first.
Nope.
Damn.
Well, you can also just kill them all. But, actually...
Which you're probably going to do anyway.
Well, yeah, on your first time through, but I didn't bother doing that this time, because the enemy groups in the gold armors are actually kind of a headache to fight. Well, in repeated groups, anyway.
Oh, okay.
Always transition into murder.
One enemy remaining.
It's the only way to edit.
Nice work, team.
18 experience.
Okay, now back to that search for the captain. Where were we going? Okay, let's see.
I'm telling you, it's right back where we started.
It was the ventriloquist dummy.
I'll reveal your true form.
The statue.
Anyway, yeah, we need to fight Eligor again. And yeah, these enemies can't be recruited as demons either, I don't think. How do you miss with wind? Come on, Morgana.
Very carefully.
Feel my wind.
Yeah, unlike the Eligor that we fought before, when Ryuji awakened, this guy actually is weak to lightning. Unfortunately, he's got so much health that it doesn't really matter all that much. But you know what? I'm feeling impatient. There we go.
You said you weren't using New Game Plus stuff.
This isn't a New Game Plus stuff. He's just as broken when you get him in a new game.
He's level 66 when you get him.
Well, no, but he will take this guy down just as quick.
So what you're saying is all new players just go download him.
Exactly.
Well, it's one way to make the game a hell of a lot easier, I'll tell you that.
Oh my god, Persona has pay to win! Damn you, Atlas!
The DLC personas are pretty damn good, but they run out of usefulness when you get past their initial level. They are very good for fusing other personas, though, or for inheriting other skills, that sort of thing. And, well, then you get the really ridiculous ones, like I think Messiah has Victory Cry. And Victory Cry, for context, is a skill that fully restores your health and SP after every battle, as long as the persona is equipped at the end of it. So basically, it's an I win button for the entire game.
A lot of things in RPGs can go like that.
Well, yeah, but this is a particularly useful skill because this is a game that really hinges on you not having the ability to quickly restore yourself. And it's an ability that most of the... only the best personas in the other two games have Victory Cry. Victory Cry is usually reserved for the absolute best persona that you can get at endgame level. The level 90 personas, basically. It's something that Lucifer might have, you know?
Joker.
Or Halel, if the particular game happens to make those two separate things. That makes it makes no sense, but there are like these two designs for Satan. One is his angelic form, and one is his demon form. So depending on the version of Persona 3 you have, you might wind up.
I can feel it.
Ugh, trying to actually sneak past these guys is a pain in the ass. But like Persona 3's got two versions of the same persona as a result of this.
Yeah.
What we're saying, kids, is that you need to summon both Satan and Lucifer at your leisure.
Totally.
Hail Satan!
Well, no, the thing about that is, in Shin Megami Tensei, Satan is a completely different entity from Lucifer. And Satan is frickin' horrifying, by the way. Like...
Yeah, the guy likes to make a mockery of martial arts and everything.
The #1 champion!
Yeah, but like Shin Megami Tensei, Satan is one of the most freakish looking abominations in the series, so...
You mean Hercule isn't?
Show me your true form.
I love how big Satan is once you get him, though. Like, I summoned him at the end of Persona 5 because he was one of the later Personas I had, and he's like, he's literally as wide as, like, the entire party. He just shows up huge behind the player character. He's like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
So just gonna break this off for your head again.
Alright, and this guy is not dead
Halfway
yet.
done.
Fuck. Just die already.
It's
There
dead.
you go.
The power of downloadable content.
The New Game Plus.
I mean, we got the Randy right eye and the lustful left eye. It's time to backtrack.
All right.
Why did he name his right eye Randy?
Mm.
It's Randy, baby. Randy.
That was easy.
Eh.
Damn it.
It's a really fancy edit.
It's almost like you're reading a comic book. Except not. Ugh, even at this point, the Barretts are still annoying me. Oh, now you want to talk? Sure, join my party. That way I can hit like a truck too.
Except I'm going to be nowhere near as useful once I'm actually joining your party.
Yeah.
I do enjoy level ups in Persona, though. The thing I found definitely when I played Persona 4 for the first time was that you can level up 1 or 2 times and you feel the difference from those 2 level ups. Like, it's not like a lot of RPGs. There are some Final Fantasy games where, like, you level up and you don't really feel like you're getting stronger, just your HP's gotten bigger, you know?
Yeah.
But with a game like Persona, if you're having trouble, definitely level up, and that level up, you feel it. Like, going from 1 to 99 is like a world of difference.
Yeah. It's funny because the numbers don't necessarily look like it is, but it is. Like, a few points can make a huge difference.
Yeah. Like, I could be fighting a party of monsters that are just, like, really kicking my ass. 2 levels up later, all of a sudden they're, like, kind of comfortable, and I'm not really having that much trouble with them. It's like, wow, I feel so much stronger. RPGs, some of the RPGs have trouble, like, illustrating that. Some RPGs just have a tricky way of, like, showing you that you're actually getting stronger, you know? I like RPGs that make you feel the power.
Let's go.
It's ironically, it's the RPGs with smaller numbers that tend to get it better.
Paper Mario, yeah.
Yeah, they're a bit closer to, I would say, a Dungeons and Dragons balance, where a few points is the difference between life and death sometimes.
Reveal your true form.
Alright, so we're across the Guillotine Bridge, still fighting owls who care too much about looking cool.
Andras's enemy is my enemy.
Why'd you give him Andrew's voice?
Because I thought of Andros. I'm tired.
And one is still alive.
Damn it. Oh. Gonna beg for his life now. Okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll take you as a party member too. Why not? Gotta catch 'em all.
Me am Andros.
Now I too can be a naked owl man.
A naked buff owl man.
Get out, Barrett. I don't care about you anymore.
You had him for one battle.
I didn't even use him.
Might as well have asked for money at that point.
Yeah.
In the first playthrough, I always managed it so that I would have, like, all the elements that I could. Something that I could use darkness, something that I could use psychic, something that could use lightning, and, if I found something that
Good
just
old
gave...
type coverage.
Yeah. And it's like, I only replaced it when I wanted to get a new persona to fill my compendium, because I'm not really sure if, like... Do you have to bring it to the Velvet Room to register it? Or does it, like, automatically get
Yeah.
registered as soon as you capture it?
When you get a persona, it's always registered in the state it is in when it first pops into your compendium, even if that's slightly better than what it would be at its base level, like, say, if you just fused it. But if you level it up at all or gain any experience whatsoever, you do have to enter it into the compendium to keep that.
Yeah.
And the compendium does record the exact experience point total that a persona has, so you can just re-register after gaining half a level's worth of experience so that you don't lose that progress. The compendium is basically a save state system for every single persona in the game.
And I'm thankful it's there.
The guard captain again. Hi, Captain. Has anyone ever told you you're a dick?
So the guard captain would just let us get ready.
This majestic tower penetrating the sky represents the Admiral King Kamoshida's most sacred place.
Oh my gosh. Not all these jokes, guys.
What kind of selfish reasoning is that? She just gets cut off halfway through the sentence by this.
Yeah,
Oh.
the slime. Command.
It's coming. Morgana, just stop. Please. Anyway, yeah, we get to fight Kamoshida's dick now. The thing about the King of Desire is that it sometimes wastes a turn just staring at On. So, just keep posing like that, On, please. It means less turns where I have to deal with this thing hitting me. But it likes to target On, too, so you kind of want to keep her defending.
And it resists everything.
You would think cold would be its weakness.
Lunge.
Oh.
Physical skills actually are the way to go here. Alright then.
Just gonna break it over your knee again.
Well, let me see. What did I do here? Oh, I pulled out Cadenza. One of the most useful skills in Persona 3 makes a return as the Orpheus DLC ability. You can't have any other Persona inherit this skill. It's unique to the Orpheus Personas. But Cadenza heals 50% of your max HP, but it also gives you an agility buff. Now, Persona 5 introduces a tweak to the buff system, whereby if you cast a buff on someone who already has that buff on them, the buff won't be wasted, it will actually extend it to another 3 turns. Or rather, it will, for the next 3 turns. It will just extend it to whatever it would have ended from that casting. So you can cast buffs a turn early if you don't want to have that one round where everyone is unbuffed. Cadenza cannot extend the Sukukaja buff, but Sukukaja can extend from Cadenza, so it's good to open with Cadenza and then use Sukukaja after that.
Maybe this is why all these Persona videos get taken off of YouTube. We got a dick on screen.
Not anymore.
Thank God. Get a good experience, though.
It is done.
No, the perk to that is we got to actually experience the pleasure of castrating this asshole. Okay. And Ryuji's just like, yeah, that ain't no thing. I am so done with this place.
Have fun with that comment section.
So that was a thing. And we haven't even fought Mara yet. Like, has this dick mushroom thing ever been in any other game before? Like, I know Mara's a thing, but Mara's this huge dick on a chariot.
Not that I can recall.
Just couldn't make stairs that just went up.
One more flower pot to break.
And in we go.
In we go indeed. This is the end of the dungeon.
Hooray!
I'm pretty sure there aren't any more random battles up here. Ah, no. Fuck, there's one more.
In front of the safe room, too.
Come on. Come on.
Oh, just go sneak up on him.
Had to wait until he turned around.
Reveal your true form.
I mean, I have a few seconds to get to him and ambush him before he sees me, but I don't have that long.
Now's our chance to strike. It can't take gunfire. It's impervious to gunfire.
Well, which is it, Morgana?
Bareth is impervious to gunfire.
No,
Succubus is weak.
I know, but it's using very vague terms. Just saying
Yeah.
it's immune to gunfire. It's weak to gunfire. It's like, well, which is it?
Now, the thing about an enemy group that's got an enemy that's immune to gunfire is that for some fucked up reason, you just stop using your gun entirely when you hit an enemy that's weak to it, that's immune to it. Even if the other enemy that you were aiming at is weak to it. It's kind of stupid.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't have time for this shit. Let's get moving.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
At this point, I was like, fuck it. I'm done with this dungeon. I don't want to spend more time fighting Bareth.
That was so easy, I'm yawning.
Treasure!
Yay.
Dull sword.
Well, that wasn't funny as a... what's this gonna be?
Crush
sword and a
shield.
Neither of them particularly useful, but you know... I'm sure Diderer would buy it. And probably make something crazy like an accordion out of it. Alright. So, here we are. The safe room outside of the throne room. So, basically, on boss night, you travel straight back here and just run straight to the treasure. Unless you need to go back and get the locked treasure chests, in which case, probably travel to the closest safe point to those and try to get there without getting killed.
I'd say we're at the top.
Well, they can't necessarily tell until they get there. It's hard to tell the elevation they're at.
What are your thoughts?
Alright, let's get going.
Okay, let's go.
Let's go into the room next door.
This isn't how I thought I was going to spend 420.
Well, it is a trip. Are you sure we haven't smoked any today?
Day feels longer than usual.
Now climb that ass.
Yeah, they got one more visual gag in before the end of the dungeon. Alright, and there's Shadow Kamoshida.
No.
How have you not captured the intruders yet? That's a brilliant way for a king to phrase a question. You have such a commanding presence, Mr. Internet Meme.
I don't think it's possible to actually get caught by these guys. I don't think you can actually go down the stairs.
Yeah, you can't.
No.
But try anyway.
And there are enemies walking around in areas where you can't actually go. And here we are, the treasure room. There is another breakable pot. So make sure you get that.
Ooh, warbly thing.
And that would be the treasure.
Oh, it's a treasure.
The Dutchman's treasure!
You sure we haven't been smoking?
Hey, what is this?
At this point, I think we went beyond pot and just straight to acid.
Well, you'll see with Morgana in a couple seconds, but...
Took long enough, like 3 whole parts.
How do you steal a rainbow? I guess we're gonna find out.
Alright, Joker, we need to find a leprechaun.
No, Kamoshida's treasure, the one that represents his desires, is a rainbow. I wonder if that says anything. Huh.
Oh my.
Desires have no physical form by nature. Hence,
You don't say.
make the real person aware that their desires are in fact a treasure. Once they're conscious that their desires might be stolen.
So yeah, this is the first instance of a moment where you have to go out into the real world and do something with the person that you're trying to manipulate into opening a way through the dungeon. And a few dungeons you actually have to stop halfway through the dungeon and go back to the real world and deal with something that is part of their desires or related to their palace, like to open a door or get past a security system. It's interesting, but also infuriating, because when those things happen, which isn't all that often, to be honest, it forces you to waste a day. Because then you have to go into the real world and, you know, have a cutscene with that character.
Just let me know when you're ready. We'll head back to the hideout and send out that calling card.
Okay, here we go. Infiltration route has been secured.
Huzzah.
Well then.
Now, whenever you get to the treasure, you're asked whether or not you want to just get out, which is usually a good option to take because it saves you the trouble of running back to a safe room. But you always can just turn around and go looking for treasure if you missed any. And even if you take the option, it just takes you to the front entrance anyway, so you can fast travel from here to any safe room you want. Anyway, Velvet Room time.
Yay.
What am I going to do in here? I think I'm just going to enter stuff in my compendium. I did actually go to the Velvet Room several times during that dungeon, but it was between parts.
Are you sure?
I get to save like my 2.5 experience points. Excellent.
You'd like to register this?
Alright.
Are you
Ooh.
sure?
I must put like 1% toward level up there.
Are you sure?
Hey, experience is experience, I guess.
Yup.
Fusion.
Anyway, let's see what we can do for fusions. Not much.
Excessive power only leads to destruction.
Well, unless you got the money to offer up, apparently. I mean, they don't mind giving you excessive power if you can pay for it. Time to go back and gloat at Kamoshida's face.
I'll just add
Hooray. Sounds like fun to me.
Mm-hmm.
This was a nice way to spend a holiday.
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 Sorry, boss. I gotta take the day off work. It's 4:20.
Do you think anyone in Japan would get that?
Not sure.
Like, I'm pretty sure they wouldn't. I'm also pretty sure that pot is, like, way illegal in Japan. But
Yeah.
once you leave the dungeon, you get this infiltration log screen, which logs down every single little milestone you achieved while exploring the palace.
You did everything.
Yes.
Yes.
Alrighty then. Let's get going. I'm beat. Time for some sleep.
Sounds good.
I just said that, Morgana.
Okay.
You did great today. You tired? Well, I don't know. You tell me, Morgana. Isn't that your job here?
Pretty far in. We did the entire thing.
She'll even say that if you barely go in at all, though. Oh, wait. I think this conversation only triggers if you do get the treasure. Although, it'd be kind of hilarious if you got the treasure after going, like, no distance at all.
Now then.
So what does Coffee Man have to say?
I know you've been gone all 420. I'm watching you.
Anyway, subplot time, which is actually the main plot. The Minister of Transport is under fire for the train crash that we saw earlier in the game. Yeah, apparently the bad guys caused that train crash to get a political rival out of the way. And what assholes.
I'm sure that won't come up later.
Yep, time to save.
Like in Persona 3 and 4, you can go into the bathroom. In Persona 3, the bathroom mechanic was actually a random chance to reset your condition meter to good or upgrade it to great if it was already good. So you could actually save scum the bathroom at the dorm if you wanted. And that was one way to manipulate the fatigue meter to your liking so that you could go into Tartarus sooner or
It's no longer 420.
have a better time. But in Persona 3, you actually did want to stay tired for a couple days after you go to Tartarus, because staying tired meant you could go to the nurse's office at school, and that meant you could take a stupid medicine and get some free courage points.
That's how I turned into a badass.
By drinking Dr. Hyde's evil concoction, apparently. Dr. Hyde? Did I just say Dr. Hyde? It's Mr. Hyde. Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. Jesus. Get your cultural icons right. Jesus. That is actually a good point. It is easier to study if you have some wholesome food. Why do you think Light Yagami had those potato chips?
And ate them. And ate them. And ate them.
Still haven't seen any potato chips for the Netflix series.
Yeah, that looks so bad.
I don't watch anime.
Clearly.
Well, you should watch Death Note. It's pretty good, at least until the end. Gets a little messy toward the end.
I haven't seen Death Note in a while, but I enjoyed it.
Aren't you guys excited about the Netflix movie that's changing basically everything to be an actual adaptation, but is using too much of the source material to be its own thing?
Of course.
The thing about Death Note is that it is somewhat tied to the Japanese justice system specifically. So I'm wondering how they'll work around that now that everything's America.
They're not going to, because they made Light Yagami / Light Turner a seemingly bullied teen who's out to get everyone.
There's so many things that just were meant to be cartoons, you know?
Yeah. But hey, Willem Dafoe as Ryuk, like the only thing that movie has going for it.
I don't really think that it being live action is a really big deal in this case, because I mean it's a thriller. It's not like Dragon Ball Z. It's about mystery and strategizing, but you know, it's also got a certain kind of story. Anyway, time to send that calling card. But first, let's go sell our crap.
Gotta go to take the train to the Central Street and then take the train back.
Yeah.
Let's get the money for our hoagie fund.
Now, this is the best thing about the Velvet Room. When you're in the dungeon, you get let in by Justine, but when you're in the real world, when you're not the stylish Phantom Thief, in other words, Carolina. Yeah, the Caroline is sitting on top of the door, just wagging her legs, waiting for you to show up. And when you do, she jumps down and kicks your ass in there. Every time.
Get in there, inmate.
Ah, some suspicious guys. Maybe they're detectives? Oh,
Two
yeah.
new detectives.
You know, those guys are totally detectives. You, well, not quite. You were close. They're Yakuza. Oh, wait, that's the opposite. Sorry.
Hey, inmate! I was waiting.
Yeah, what does he want this time?
If I had known I was going to be walking in here a few seconds ago, I wouldn't have bothered going last night.
Ah!
Ugh. Really, Igor? I mean, really. This is another thing that Igor never really did in the previous games, was commenting on the door. Okay, thanks for telling me what I already figured.
I mean, it's good to know, I guess.
Okay, shut up about the rehabilitation, alright? I am a totally healthy, well-adjusted, law-abiding high schooler. Huh.
Who's going into people's minds and kicking their dicks in too.
You know, now that I think about it, I was a law-abiding kid until you walked into my life. So how are you rehabilitating me?
Time to get more bullets.
I'm not really sure why there was an ammo count at all in the first place, though. Because, like, you're not firing any actual bullets. You're just sort of firing a fake gun that didn't have bullets in the first place, and because the enemy thinks they're real, they fire bullets. Oh, yeah. We got a couple nude candle stands in there. Oddly enough, they're the cheapest items. Well, one of the cheapest items.
Where'd you get all these holy helmets?
How did you get all this stuff?
How'd you get all these silver forks?
Okay, I'm just not gonna ask whose dining room you raided, but, good stuff. I can sell this for good money.
I'll buy it for a high price.
All right.
Pretty much.
You should be grateful.
Yeah, there are some pieces of armor that are just there for selling, too. Alright. And yeah, Takemi's asking me if I want to go do the social link thing. But, oh, this is the point where you need guts. You can start Takemi's Confidant at rank 1 without any guts, but after that first clinical trial, you need to have at least rank 2 guts, I think, or possibly rank 3, not sure, to continue with her Confidant at all. So that's something to keep in mind. Alright, let's go send that calling card.
Now I gotta get all the way back to school.
Thank God for free train passes.
Are you ready?
All that's left now is to send out the calling card and take Kamoshida's heart.
So, okay, dear Kamoshida, I'm coming to rip your heart out. Signed, Phantom Thief.
In crayon.
Roses are red, violets are blue. You're kind of a dick. I'm coming for you. Signed, the Phantom Thieves of Hearts.
Roses are red, violets are blue. Omae wa mo gashinderu.
What? I don't get it. I feel like I'm missing something here.
Fist of the North Star, you are already dead.
Yep.
Ah, okay. Alright. So, when you select the calling card option at the hideout, once it's available, it pretty much ends the day. You do have one thing that you can use your time slot for at night, though. Or possibly two things. I'm not sure if you can make coffee or curry. I've never actually tried it. But you can make infiltration tools. So I would always just use this time slot to make infiltration tools, because it's a free time slot to do that with whatever materials you happen to have. Otherwise, you're just going to sleep and waste the night.
Tomorrow's finally the day.
So we send the calling card in the morning.
Why you can't go to work or something the night before, I don't know, but whatever.
Correct. The effect won't last that long. Are you worried?
Anyway, boss fights in the Persona series are usually pretty goddamn long and
Going to
take a lot of
no matter what.
time to get through.
I mean, we still have half the video left, so...
Yeah, I mean, like, this isn't a Final Fantasy VII boss fight where 5 turns in, the boss fades into red and you're done. It just sort of ended. No, you can't just pummel it with 9,999 attack damage over and over until it gives up.
Knights of the round, spam anyone?
Yeah, you kind of gotta have to try, and on the higher difficulties, that can be quite a task. I think one of the reasons people remember Persona 4 as being so hard, even though it's not all that hard overall, is that when you get to the first boss in Yukiko's castle, you're usually at such a level that it's a really tough boss fight that probably kills you at least once before it's over. That's just where the difficulty curve is a bit bottom-loaded in the way that's balanced, but Kamoshida's Shadow is not all that difficult, however. It's less a challenging first boss and more a tutorial for the mechanics that the rest of the boss fights are going to be dealing with. So you do have to kind of watch yourself. It is a bit tough to get through, at least if you don't have the DLC personas. But it's mainly there to teach you, hey, you're going to have to destroy certain objects before you can damage the boss sometimes. Hey, sometimes you're going to have to send a character off to do something before you can defeat the boss properly. That kind of thing. Otherwise, it's mostly a vanilla boss fight, and as long as you come in with a bunch of healing items and stuff, you're not going to have as much trouble. Of course...
Hey, Sarah, Sarah.
Of course, this game also removes the option of doing the boss on the same day that you reach it. So you don't have the admittedly kind of dickish possibility Persona 4 presented, where you could just bumble into the boss fight with half your SP and realize you don't have enough resources to take it down. Or with no SP.
They warned you pretty well that you were heading to the final room.
Yeah, and you had a save point and everything too, but you might just walk into it without knowing that you need a full SP bar to really stand a chance, and, well, that's a problem. In Persona 4, it was typically a smart idea to not go fight the boss on the same day you reached it, although later on in the game, when you maybe had more abilities that would let you recover SP, it would be some sort of doable. Persona 5 adds this calling card mechanic, mostly to make sure that you never run into that situation at all.
I should write something.
Writes something, and then goes to sleep.
His journal entry for 420 is just, I did something. I don't remember what it was.
I have all these silver forks for some reason.
Wasted away again in Margaritaville.
Sainijima's going through his journal. What is this something you keep writing in your book?
Then where do you keep getting all these forks?
Who gave you the holy helmets? Answer me!
Answer me now!
Anyway, it turns out I don't have enough for any real infiltration tools, but I've got enough for some element sets. These are items that cast elemental damage at enemies. Now, in any other RPG, this might actually be useless, because other things would deal more damage. Unfortunately, or rather fortunately, in the Persona series, you're not necessarily just thinking about how much damage you're doing. And if you can use an item to get a free elemental strike on something, that means you can knock it down without using any SP. So having a lot of element sets stocked up is actually a pretty helpful thing.
Yep, can't make anything else.
I can make another stealth and all.
Wow. So just
Woo.
making it just because you can?
Yeah, you might as well use your materials to make as many infiltration tools as you can in one time slot. That was lucky. I got 2 in one go. And by doing that, I get a proficiency boost. You see the 3 musical notes instead of just 2? If I were actually gaining points, that would have been a very good thing.
And me, I'm already perfect.
Yeah. Bedtime. Alright. It's game day. Let's go, Kamoshida. You and me. And An. And Ryuji. And Morgana, I guess. 1-on-1. Come on. Wait. Is my math off? I think my math's off. What are they saying over there? Yakisoba? I bet nobody... I bet, like, most people who play this game in the West don't even know what yakisoba pan is. Don't even know that pan means bread.
Gotta fit those food naming conventions for the Sun family.
I gotta find a good Japanese food place around here, man. I mean, there's plenty of Chinese food places. They're all over the place.
Mm-hmm. Well, a lot more Chinese people than there are Japanese, so...
Yeah, I know. But, like, the only Japanese food places I know are this one big buffet place and, you know, the occasional sushi place that sells cheap sushi.
That's probably not good for you.
Yeah, I don't want cheap sushi. The Japanese buffet place was pretty nice.
I heard it was already posted by the time everyone got here this morning.
It's a good thing no one saw Ryuji throwing that stuff around.
Now, we don't have an artist on our team yet, so Ryuji drew that logo himself.
We know how shitty you are.
The fun thing is that after this plot point, that ghetto scribbled logo is drawn on the chalkboard in the classroom.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's just like, wow, okay. That was bad.
To be fair, the logos itself isn't that bad.
Looked up a bunch of similar stuff online for reference.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
He Googled it.
I wanted to say, but it sounded like an idiot trying to be an adult. Your logo's a little
I feel like I could take a screenshot of that dialogue line and just use it as a response image to almost everything that anyone says on the internet.
Does this mean the rumors are true?
Wait a sec. Is someone gonna take something from Mr. Kamoshida?
What's with this weird logo? And who are these Phantom Thieves of Hearts people?
Oh, God. That still doesn't flow in English.
Excited, so it's all good, yeah?
Phantom Thieves of Hearts. Ugh.
Who's responsible for this?
Hi, Kamoshida.
That. A predictable reaction for someone who knows what we mean by distorted desires.
I think it's hidden
No
for the
kidding.
art. Did you do this, or was it you? Was it you two?
I like how Anna's just keeping her head down. Don't notice me. Don't notice me. Don't notice me. Please don't notice me.
When you're right in front of him.
He's not noticing me. He still hasn't noticed me. Holy hell!
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Please don't notice me. Okay, he hasn't noticed me. Whew.
Judging from Kamoshida's response,
I feel like I was just hiding under a table and holding a spoon up in front of my face.
does that mean the treasure
You mean one of the ones we found in the vases?
today?
Probably.
It's not just today. It's only today.
I'm just a helpless little flower pot. Don't smash me.
And it cannot be repeated. This will be our one chance to steal the treasure.
Anyway, yeah, the logic behind this is that the calling card is a one-shot attempt. You can't use the calling card again if the attempt fails. So it's a do or die once it's sent.
Yeah. And at this point, they're not really sure this is going to work. This could kill him.
Yeah.
I gotta do it anyway.
Yeah, the guy kind of drove you into a corner here. Anyway, this song kicks in.
Do, 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 do,
It's also the first case of a thing that Persona 5's soundtrack does, where there's a lyrical version of a track, and then there's a non-lyrical version of a track. The non-lyrical version of Life Will Change plays for, like, I think the first 4 dungeons.
First 5.
Yeah, and then the lyric track kicks in for the rest of the dungeons. And there are other things like, what is it, Rivers in the Desert, which plays non-lyrical for the first phase of Shido's boss fight, and then lyrical for the rest of them. That is a good boss theme, by the way.
It's fantastic.
They do a similar thing with the nighttime theme that's happening right now, where there's no lyrics, but after this dungeon's over, there's going to be lyrics. And the first time that happened, I was like, whoa, that's awesome. I love the lyrics. But this song just pumps you up for a heist, man.
Yeah. It also plays through all the random battles, so in the later dungeons when you have to fight a few to get to the boss, you get to listen to it the whole time.
This was one of the songs that was featured in one of the like teasers that came out in like 2014, where they showed a lot of the cutscenes, but in Japanese and stuff. And I was just, this got me so pumped for Persona 5.
And then it got delayed for 3 years.
Pisses me off. Why is it so pretty? Isn't this Kamoshida's desires?
Pretty? I think it's gaudy. Gaudy as hell, man.
What's wrong?
Anyway, there's this thing that's never really addressed where Morgana goes crazy when she runs into a Why do I keep misgendering the goddamn cat? Where Morgana goes crazy whenever he runs into a treasure. So, yeah, it's very bizarre.
He's a cat with a penchant for thievery. He lives for this.
That being said, it is a detail that helps you predict the twist when it happens. Because there's one treasure that Morgana does not go crazy over.
To think I'd be drawn to human desires this much.
Okay, so... not really. It just proves that you're a crazy cat. Anyway, let's figure out how to haul this thing out.
Where's my spray bottle?
Don't say it out loud, Ryuji.
The palace will disappear if we take this back, right? And Kamoshida will change too. That should be the case.
That should be the case, yeah. Maybe. Possibly.
Or we could kill him.
I like how they actually have to haul the physically huge crown out by hand. They were actually planning to get past the shadows like this. Jesus.
Well, they know they can fast travel.
Anyway, inexplicably, you hit rank 2 at this point with Morgana, which means Morgana gets baton pass just in time for the boss fight.
Hooray. Rank 2 up.
Okay. I don't think you can actually use baton pass during the boss fight though, so the timing is weird.
I guess just to let you know you have it.
Well, I mean, it's like, that would have been useful to have during the dungeon, when enemies had weak points.
Let's go, Kamoshida!
Yeah, you know, English cheerleading conventions don't work so well in Japanese. Just gonna say.
That was a 6 spike, Kamoshida.
I won't let anyone take this. This proves that I am the king of this castle. It is the core of this world.
You know all I have to do is beat you up, right?
Rat bastard.
Wow, I'm sure nothing will stop us from fighting you and taking it.
You waiting to ambush us?
I just made it easier to find you. I'll dispose of you myself. Right here, right now.
I beat up literally everyone else in your castle, so...
Well, why didn't you do this earlier? Why did you wait until now? You could have been safer by taking us down and... Oh, never mind.
You were doing things that you kept in secret from others.
That line is so awkwardly written.
Secret. Adults who want to share in my accomplishments. Students who have the drive to become winners.
Yeah, I can sort of understand where this logic comes from. Even if it's utterly bullshit and it's really just the shadow making excuses for itself.
Many imbeciles who don't understand that.
This is like, oh, everyone else wants to have a piece of my pie, so I can do what I want. It's totally fair. They're gaining stuff from it. I'm doing things for these people. Fuck off. This line is also awkwardly written.
No matter what kind of fool someone might be, they don't need your permission to live their lives.
And I don't think the voice acting really agrees with this conversation either. It all kind of comes out as a bit stilted.
I'm a cut above all other humans.
Yeah, but you didn't win the gold in the Olympics, did you? Did you? Did you?
You're a goddamn demon obsessed with your sick desires.
Anyway, in keeping with all of the shadows in the dungeons being demons from Shin Megami Tensei, all of the shadows have demon forms instead of shadows. So instead of just being Shadow Kamoshida, we're actually going to fight Suguru Asmodeus Kamoshida. Yeah, Asmodeus is apparently this demon's middle name.
Why does a demon have a middle name?
I don't know. Like, it's not like Asmodeus is his actual middle name in the real world. That's just how this name is written. Like, I don't think the Japanese even have middle names, but it comes out looking like he has a middle name that's Asmodeus, and it's like, oh god, your mother must have hated you.
Boss fight.
Anyway, yeah, one of the most visually memorable boss fights is the first one. And the second boss, the boss of Dungeon 2 doesn't have quite as memorable a visual design, but technically the boss of Dungeon 2 is a lot more challenging than this one. Anyway, yeah, Kamoshida's demon form is this shriveled four-armed imp with a cup in front of his crotch, and a really long tongue.
And cutlery.
Yeah, but this is gold cutlery.
Uh-huh. He's also got a whip. Okay. He eats with that, does he? That's, odd. A little out of place, but okay.
Yeah, this boss seems also really good.
Yes. Yes, it is. Like, every so often this boss just kicks into this sick guitar riff that I can't help but stop and listen to every time it's playing. Anyway, yeah, let's start up with Cadenza. Why not? Because opening up with buffs I shouldn't have at this point in the game is a surefire way to keep the difficulty balanced.
Yeah, you're playing on hard mode, so...
Wait, as far as I know, this boss doesn't have any weak points or resistances, so just wail on him until he gives up. Or until the next phase of the boss happens, I suppose.
Oh, you missed.
2 for 2. Haha.
Not so good at this, are you, Kamoshida?
Anyway, because I don't want this boss to last too long, I'm actually going to use Cross Slash.
God damn.
I won't do this kind of thing for any other boss, but this boss really is just a matter of getting through its phases and going through the motions of the tutorials built into it. You do enough damage to him here, he heals himself up. And that's what I mean. I just want to speed that moment up.
A libido boost.
That's
Libido.
gross.
Ugh, libido. Whatever.
It's the thing that makes you want to sex with people. That's all you need to know. Okay.
Oh my.
Somehow I don't think that's gonna last. It's gonna last that long. I mean, it's 3 in the afternoon. Just saying. Okay.
Heal everyone up and then attack the trophy.
Nah, defense boost. Nobody's hurt hard enough that I want to heal them. Anyway, yeah, you gotta punch Kamoshida repeatedly in the dick to stop him from healing himself. Yeah, I think that's a good way to disable someone.
When someone tells us not to do something, it makes us want to do it even
Exactly, Morgana.
Uh-huh.
Human nature.
Regarding the common pop culture trope that only men are weak to punches to the dick, that's not actually true. You can inflict just as much pain on a woman that way, it's just that it's harder to hit the target. It's also not something you want to do to someone because it has other health risks as well. For both genders, just saying. It's not as funny as it looks on... It's not as funny as it looks in slapstick movies.
Oof. Man, that thing does so much damage.
Yeah, it's a I guess what you would call a third tier physical skill. It does the second highest class of damage, I think.
So, heavy damage?
Possibly the third highest if there's a real If there's a layer above that in this game, I think there might be, actually. Speaking of spell tiers, Persona 5 is like the only game out of these 3 modern Persona games that gives all of the, or at least most of the party members, a 4th tier skill to attack with. Previously, that was something only the main character could do.
And the trophy's down.
Well, unless you counted Naoto with Megi Dolan, but that had such a high SP cost that you barely ever used it. Oof, the drool down his mouth always disgusts me. Uh-huh.
If you're so great, why are you working at a high school?
Yeah, that's worth asking. You're Kamoshida, you're the king. I'm the guy with the gun. Shut up.
What's a king to a god?
Seriously lame right now.
We came all this way to steal that.
There's a line that comes after that, but I don't remember what it is. So,
What's a god to a non-believer?
what's a god to a non-believer? That's the one, yeah.
Still have the energy to say things like that? Then we're going to up our game as well.
Let's go.
Okay. You don't actually get the choice to back off from that all-out attack. It just happens on its own.
This country has a prime minister.
Elvis.
We won't get anywhere with brute force.
The answer is Elvis. Yeah, I'm probably the only one here who's old enough to get that joke.
I know what you meant.
That flew over my head.
Elvis is the king.
What do we do?
Oh wait. No wait, no it didn't. Oh my gosh.
Time for plan B. Look over at that.
Okay, so now, tutorial B.
Attention. Have someone go there.
Sometimes you have to send one of your party members off for a certain number of turns to deal with a specific thing that's in the boss fight that needs to be removed before you can effectively fight. In this case, it's the crown, so you got to send one of your party members off to steal it. Now, I think anyone in this boss fight will do except for An. And your clue for that is he keeps looking at me. You don't want to send An off to do this because the boss's eyes are on her. So he's going to notice as soon as she tries to go away.
Morgana's not terribly useful right now anyway, so...
Yeah. Morgana doesn't really get useful until he starts learning group healing spells.
No, I'm pretty sure the school would exist without you.
You know, the track team would have done just fine if you hadn't screwed them over, just saying. And you know that too.
Time to use this opportunity to take the treasure.
Zip. What are you holding on to? More importantly, what are you holding on with? Where are your
His
fingers?
claws.
Alright. More wailing on the boss. Although at this point it doesn't really matter how much damage you do to him. Because as soon as the gun goes down, he's basically as soon as the crown goes down, he's basically a sitting duck. This is the reason I wasn't so guilty about using cross slash in this fight. Because once you take the crown off, you've basically won.
Wonder if it is possible to beat him before that happens.
Now, one of the things about Kamoshida that sort of comes out in his boss fight with this ultimate attack thing he has is that he's sort of clinging to his glory days as an actual Olympic athlete. So, you know, he's when you think about it, he's sort of in decline right now. He's a school teacher. He's not, you know, an active gold medalist anymore. He's just someone who won a gold medal at some unspecified point in the past. And he's sort of clinging to...
Well, they never specifically say you won the gold, just he was a medalist.
No, he was a gold medalist. They identify
okay.
him as a gold medalist. And it's a gold medal that you get when you get his treasure. But like... he's just sort of clinging to that idea that he's this great gold medalist and his reputation is good for things. Also, that attack that he just hit me with...
Almost killed you.
You might think it's a physical skill. It's not. It's what we call an almighty attack. Almighty is this last element in the game that basically nothing blocks. In fact, as far as I know, only a specific few random enemies toward the very end of Persona 4 have any resistance to almighty damage. Almighty damage is the element that your all-out attacks use as well. So it can damage things that are immune to physical skills. It's also a spell element on its own that you can use to deal heavy damage to enemies that might otherwise have other weaknesses. The thing about almighty spells is that the SP cost is usually through the goddamn roof, so don't use them too often. Alright.
Yeah, winding down.
Winding down indeed. Morgana's gonna knock the crown off this next turn.
How do you
Wasting-
stare when your eyes are looking in two different places?
That's a good question.
Peripheral vision.
Ask Espio the Chameleon, I guess. He manages it.
Oh, you just now noticed.
Too late.
It's already check and me.
Speaking of Sonic the Hedgehog, homing attack! Anyway, when his crown gets knocked off, he goes all weird and wibbly like this. Now you can wail on him the same as you've been doing before.
Dude, you're not wearing a ring.
You can wail on him the same as you've been doing before, but the correct answer to this is what An is showing you right now. Pull out your guns and fire all of your bullets. They do a ridiculous amount of damage at this point.
Are you gonna finish him off with that?
Yep. And that's all she wrote.
Hooray!
That is all she wrote.
You got $80.
Not bad.
And
Lots of
everyone leveled up.
food.
Yeah. One of the other things about Persona 5 that is an improvement over 3 and 4 is that everyone in your party, whether they're part of your active party or not, gains experience at the same time. Whereas in 3 and 4, only the people that were in your party actively gained experience. The rest of your party would just sort of passively be dragged up a few levels if they fell behind too far.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, everyone's gaining new spells.
Hooray.
Single target debuffs. Ugh. Gross. Epic roll, I suppose? I mean, the effect was somewhat ruined by the fact that you're wearing a pink thong and a king's cape with hearts on it. But,
Aren't you a great athlete?
It's always been like this. All those goddamn
and this is the part where all pretense is dropped and the shadow starts whining about how hard its life is.
all for them. What's wrong about demanding a reward?
Now, I should clarify something. If Kamoshida were a semi-decent human being, I actually would listen to all these feelings he's been bottling up and say, hey, you know, you need to figure out a way to deal with these things in a more healthy way, or maybe rethink the direction your life is taking. You'd probably live better. The thing is, Kamoshida has already crossed so many lines that I don't care anymore, so go fuck yourself. I don't care about your problems. And that is basically the difference between the shadows in Persona 5 and the shadows in Persona 4. Now you get this moment where it almost looks like An is going to kill him. This would have been a bad idea, and the important thing about this scene is that it establishes the possibility. You need to steal the treasure without killing the shadow off in order to change their desires without doing them harm. If the shadow is killed, they'll have that mental shutdown thing that's been all the rage in the news lately. Which we obviously don't want to happen. I like how An's logic here is, I want him to live. I want him to suffer for what he's done. Like, she's not being merciful at all. She legitimately thinks this is the worst punishment. But this is the point where I kind of stop actively hating Kamoshida. Because after his shadow apologizes and vanishes, everything that you see of Kamoshida after this point is just so goddamn pitiful. And if there's one thing that kind of disturbs me about this whole concept, is that what we've done is literally removed the part of Kamoshida that drove him to do all of this. So all that's left is remorse. The part of him that was awful is just kind of gone now. But he has to live with it anyway. And while to some that might seem like justice, to me it's kind of going a little too far. Like, when it comes to thinking about punishing someone, I don't see it as all that just unless the person is still pretty awful. And the act of punishing them in some way encourages them to change. Whereas in this case, the change occurs before the punishment. And, it's just kind of weird to think about. Weird in a really disconcerting way. Okay, yeah, you remember how Ryuji had that broken leg? That comes back now.
Well, now you have no choice but to run, Ryuji.
Keep sprinting, Mr. Trackstar person.
What was that training for earlier in the week?
Yeah, he's just out of practice is all.
That sucked.
That sucked is an understatement.
Remember, the palace always crumbles the moment the boss is defeated if they give up their treasure or it's taken. That's another detail you're going to have to remember for later on. Because when the rules are being broken in this game, it means something is wrong.
Wait, where'd that crown go? What's going
Hey, I got an Olympic medal.
The treasure takes a different form when it gets transported into the real world. So it always takes the form of a replica of some real-life object owned by that person. The gold medal is fake, but it's an actual medal made of gold. So Kamoshida still has his gold medal somewhere. But we've got this very, very authentic fake Olympic gold medal. So the next thing that we're going to be doing to move the story along is selling it.
Yay!
I'm not kidding. The next thing that the Phantom Thieves decide to do is sell the gold medal for like 10,000 yen and use that and like splurge at an expensive hotel buffet.
That's only like $100.
You actually do get to keep some of that profit for yourself, by the way. Most of the money is gone on the buffet, but I think there's like 3,000 or so left over. That plus the 8,000 you won from the boss fight is a nice little reward.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's time to spend it all on medicine.
Oh boy. That reminds me, I still need to go see Takemi. He's got another one of those clinical trials for me. Guys, can I pretend to be dead and hide out in one of your places? Wait, why am I bothering with the clinical trials if we've already handled Kamoshida? Oh boy. I'm just sort of stuck between a rock and a hard place now. Anyway, after this point on, we'll not social link with you. Because she's going to visit Shiho every day of every week. I'm not sure if she'll social link with you during the day if you don't deal with the dungeon early. But I never really tried it, so I can't say. But yeah, you won't be able to rank up with An until after Kamoshida has his confession moment. Okay, so yeah, that's another odd detail that I don't think is ever fully explained, but Morgana turned back into an actual cat before they escaped the metaverse. Wait, what? You did that on purpose, Morgana? Why?
What a strange creature.
Weird observation, on. Ah, I forgot Morgana is reading these messages too. Okay.
Sure.
Oh yeah, this was a private message with just on involved.
Mm-hmm. We got a cute girl's number.
Well, that's over and done with.
Hooray.
We did it. What's our reward?
Going to sleep.
Yes. Going to sleep.
Now we can get back to regular teenage stuff like buying old televisions and video game consoles and just sort of wishing we had a better room. And you know what? Can we go back to the palace? Is it too late? I want to fight shadows again. Man, it's better than working at the goddamn convenience store. Anyway, yeah, when you start watching the news around this date, you start getting news broadcasts that foreshadow a future plot. There's this scam that's been targeting young people that involves a bank transfer of some kind. Better watch out. Also, there's a guy that you can talk to in a certain part of town that will try to lure you into the scam. At first, I thought it was a side quest or something, because nothing regarding it had entered the plot yet. But you can sort of see, like, early on in the game, the scattered threads of future boss plots. Kaneshiro is the third boss plot, but we're already starting to hear things about what he's up to.
Yeah, we'll have to see about that when we get further into the game.
Way further. Yeah, we'll get back to that in a couple of months.